Okay, ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen and ladies, ladies and gents, we're gonna take a little trip, and now I'm driving and talking at the same time, and so while I do this, we're gonna have a conversation. I've been trying to get something across to people, and a lot of people ain't paying attention as much as they should. What happened is, in 1933, the system proved to be faulty. It was actually before 1933 it was decided. Roughly around 1926, 27, the so-called system was reset, and well, let's give you the reset so that you will see what's going on. We had the War of 1812, a reset. All of their major wars are always a resetting of the system. That's why right after the war they have what's called a reconstruction. Now, why do they need to reconstruct after a war? Because the system that they had, the system that was operating, wasn't working. But they can't tell you that they are failing to do the job they were hired or empaneled to do. Remember, these idiots are elected to their position. The judges are chosen. That's the way the Constitution and the Northwest Ordinance was always set up. That they were public servants, and these public servants were entrusted with a public trust, and they have been put in place to do certain jobs, handle certain things, and they're not handling that. But if they were to come out and say, hey guys, what we were trying didn't work, and we cost you guys all of these problems, all of these things, all of these troubles, they wouldn't maintain a job. You would lose trust in them, and you guys would revamp, reorganize, demand this, demand that. Okay? So to keep you from doing that, they keep you at bay in a sea of confusion. Have you trying to figure out the system? Have you trying to figure out what's going on? Have you struggling? Have you preoccupied? So, as we told y'all, all of our research has indicated that the greatest thing that people have that they're dealing with on a daily basis is debt. Well, they keep you in debt. They keep you worrying about this bill or that bill. If you notice, the Fed has decided that they're going to increase interest rates. Now, why are they increasing interest rates now? Well, we told you guys a couple of months ago how food prices have been going up steadily. They already told you gas prices were going up, but why are these prices going up? Who creates inflation? The government does. The government creates inflation by valuating and devaluating currency. Well, what's currency? Currency has nothing to do with money. Currency has everything to do with what they say has value at any given time. So, the government says they're going to increase interest rates on the dollar, which means inflation. Remember, they decrease interest on the dollar so that they can bring down inflation. But now they're increasing interest rates to bring up inflation. Did you not hear them say that the job market was increasing and improving and we're at 2%, 3%, 4%, which is a lie? There are too many people out there struggling for jobs. And they're counting all of those minimum wage jobs. You know, those jobs that many of you have to now have two of in order to make ends meet? Well, that's their economy. That's what they're doing. But look, what they did some time ago to each one of you, you didn't realize it, they indoctrinated you. What do you mean? How they indoctrinate me? Ain't nobody doctoring me. Ain't nobody playing no doctor on me. Indoctrinated? They don't get to indoctrinate me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is how they indoctrinated you. They put you through what's called schooling. Schooling is nothing but training. And when they put you through that schooling or that training, they taught you everything you know now. What did they teach you when you were a child? They taught you how to count money, didn't they? They say, hey, this is how you count money. This is 5 cents, this is 10 cents, this is $1. And you sat up there and you counted money because, you know, you were a good student. And they told you that legal tender was money. Tell me I'm wrong. And you went talking to your mommy and your daddy, asking them for more money. And your mommy and your daddy didn't know no better. They told you that was money too. Okay? Only now you're finding out that it ain't money. That it wasn't money last year, and it ain't money this year. But that's okay, because everybody around you believe that junk is money. I am glad that I have had a parent, my father, who taught me the value of that junk, of how it was worthless. I give that man tons of credit, because if he had not taught me value, I promise you, I'd be out there with the rest of the people complaining and trying to struggle to make ends meet and having debt and building more debt. The people who were telling you that the more dollar bills you have, the more debt you have, they were telling you the truth. They just wasn't explaining it to you in such a way to where you could articulate that to someone else. So what did we do? We showed you the United States Treasury official U.S. government website, which tells you legal tender has no value. But then they go ahead and let you know it's all economy, because they say other than for what it can buy. Okay? They let you know that that's all that junk is supposed to be for. The economy. It is not supposed to be for you to acquire anything. It is for you to be able to exist in the economy. But again, they can't lie to you, and they're not lying to you. What they're not doing is telling you the whole truth. They're doing, as Mr. Nas would say, and so many others, mixing truth with lies. And it's legal. Why? Because if you notice, if you watch the news, they can do an advertisement, they can do a promo, they can do a sponsorship, and sell it all as if it's news, and not violate the law, because the law permits and allows them to do this. It's an amazing world. And you're probably asking yourself, what gives them the right to do this? All you got to do is ask yourself, what gives them the right to do this? You gave them the right. When you allowed them to set themselves up as this company or that company, you gave them that right. When you allowed them to set the U.S. up as a corporation, you gave them that right. This is what we do. This is what we do as people. Okay? It has been this way all of this time. Now, let's get back to the conversation about the economy and about money. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody is out there trying to survive. Families, children, mothers, fathers, brothers, cousins, uncles, nieces and nephews. Everybody is out there trying to survive. And it is very, very difficult. Why? Because they created this system to operate upon a system. We told you the other day that they have all of these so-called industries. They have the banking industry, the telemarketing industry, the so-called housing industry, the money market industry, the brokerage industry. They created all of these industries, and they literally call it that. What are these industries? What are these things that they created? These things that they created was designed to keep you at bay. Sorry, I had an automobile in front of me. The only reason why I was went silent somewhat, I had an automobile in front of me, and he was doing 45 miles an hour in a 55 mile an hour zone. And then he would slow down to 30, then he'd go back up to 40. And when I tried to pass him, as always, he tried to speed up. It is a very interesting world. Okay, so now you have it, you're in school. They teach you about this economy thing. Then they teach you history, but they don't teach you facts. They teach you history according to the way they want you to see history. They paint the picture for you. They create the illusion. And guess what? We all buy into it. Because we all perpetuate and then propagate and then tell everybody and their grandmama that we know what history is. So what happened? 1933, they created a new system, a new economy, and they call it the economy. See, there was already a stock market, so they didn't create a market. Well, technically they did create a market because they created a marketed economy. They made the economy the market. Okay? You hear them talking about it all the time. You hear them talk about a market economy. You hear them talk about the gross national product. But you never ever realize what is the gross national product. Ladies and gentlemen, that's you all. The people are the gross, collectively, nationwide product. The gross national product does not have anything to do with cars, trains, and automobiles. The gross national product has everything to do with the people. And they're buying into the system. They're participating in the so-called economy, in the illusion. And most of you are participating in the illusion knowingly and unknowingly. Most of you are satisfied with the illusion. For whatever reason. Ladies and gentlemen, I choose not to be satisfied. So let's finish talking about these industries they created. I've been sitting back and realizing all you have to do is go through the phone book and look at how many of these places, companies, agencies, departments have created business. You got all of these entrepreneurs making business, creating business. But here's your problem, ladies and gentlemen. They're getting ready to reset the system again. Why? Why are they getting ready to reset the system? Because they can't take the economy anywhere else. What happened? It's run its course. This lasted longer than all the other markets, economies, matrices they set up. 85 years. Okay? Who knew? They knew. They knew it had a shelf life. And so what did they do? Well, you had not the roaring. We don't want to start with the roaring. We want to talk about the Industrial Revolution. See, that's when they started with their industries. So they started with the Industrial Revolution, which was basically 1889 to about 1910. People say, no, it lasted longer than that. No, it didn't. Because to make sure you understood that that was unsustainable, their so-called industrial age, they caused World War I to happen. Remember, World War I, the shock that was heard around the world. Okay? Archduke Francis Ferdinand being assassinated over there in Bosnia, Herzegovina, and in that region. Okay, so now what happened after that? There was no more industrial age after that. Go back and pay attention to history. Industrial age is gone. So what industry did they introduce now that they got rid of the industrial age? They introduced what was called the Roaring 20s. They wanted to make everybody happy, tranquility. Everybody, but there's a problem. They introduced a pandemic. Why did they do a pandemic? Because you all had to buy the story. They had to distract you. See, they couldn't just change the system with the war because not every country was affected by World War I. So that would have left some countries being a little bit more well off than others. So no, they had to create a global crisis so that they could introduce this system that they were bringing together. You're going to see how it all comes together. All right, so we got our global crisis, World War I, and then we had the Spanish influenza. Double bang, distraction. All right, what came next? The Roaring 20s. Oh yeah, everybody's happy, money's plentiful, everybody's clubbing, hopping, hipping, and ropping, and hey, they got it going on. There was one problem. That was unsustainable. The people couldn't handle it. I mean, it got very violent. Government started putting on these restrictions and then it got even more violent. They started prohibiting people from drinking and buying alcohol. You don't touch a man's liquor. Y'all know better than that. Okay, that comes from a show I wrote called Grandma's Story, Grandma Anime. And she talks about how they went and they touched a man's liquor. And there's one thing you never do is touch a man's liquor. And so they touched their liquor. And when they touched their liquor, things went haywire. They were upset. They were, what's the word for it? Angry, complaining. Then we have 1927, 1928. They could not sustain that version of their matrix or their economy, so what did they do? They started another. But they couldn't just start it because the people would not accept it. Everybody keeps thinking the bankers are running things, and you guys, you got to stop watching these videos. Yes, I used to be of the same mindset that it was the banks who was causing all the problems. It's not the banks. The banks are another industry. The government controls them. The government needs them in order to keep you all at bay. If you all knew that everything was happening because the government was allowing it, then you would get it. But many of you are not getting it. Okay? Everything that's happening is happening because government permits, allows it. So technically, it is the government's fault. All right, 1933, they have a new situation, a new way of doing things. They even give the people a new offer, a new deal. They even call it that, the New Deal, where they literally just revamped things. They didn't really change anything, they just revamped it. Okay? They created one industry, then another industry, then another industry, then another industry. You notice how government is involved in every single industry they create? How the military has its foot in the door of every single industry they create. Because the government creates the industry. Go back, those of you who are old enough to recall, go back and look at all of the vocational schools, especially when they started that whole vocational school thing. Notice all the little industries they were promoting. First it was telemarketing, word processing, data entry, 10-key adding machine. Go ahead, tell me I'm wrong. Then there was dental industry, x-ray technician, nursing industry. Okay, then you had people going to real estate schools, learning how to be a broker, learning how to be a real estate agent. These are all industries they created. This is how government functions. They create the illusion, they create the atmosphere, they create the industry. Now what do they do with this industry? They pump and pour money into it, making people think that this industry is now valuable. But go back and look at all of the data entry. Data entry is nothing anymore. You don't need to know data entry in order to do data entry. Computers do that for you. So data entry is gone. That industry is over. Because they create the industry can't sustain itself. Why? Because too many people sign up, learn about that industry. So now they need to create something else. So every 8 to 10 years, you see them creating another industry. Right now, they have told everybody that they have a shortage of truck drivers. Ladies and gentlemen, I promise you that's a lie. I know too many people who are either owner-operators, or who do cross-country hauling of goods. And I guarantee you, they are not sitting up there being overworked as if there's too much work out there. Many of them have to wait for a job to come back their way. So that's a lie saying they need more truckers. That's only done for you guys. Sorry, I'm behind a tractor trailer and he's hauling logs and he just went around a turn and his back tire is locked up. Poor individual. That's why you got to keep your distance, especially when you're behind and around vehicles like that. All right, I'm here at my location for Wi-Fi, but they don't open for another 30 minutes. And so I'm going to finish explaining to you guys about this market-based economy. Because again, most people don't get it, most people don't understand it. Turn off my, what do you call that thing? My inverter. All right, ladies and gentlemen, because they create the industry, they control the industry. And so what they did is they created a new way of doing things. At least they called it a new way of doing things. Remember, the CEO of a company didn't really have all the clout back in the day. So in the 1930s, they reformatted government and how government was set up and how government was organized and how government was arranged. And so they did everything by contract now because they already knew everything was a contract, but you guys had to buy into it. So what they started doing is these adhesion contracts. There was no such thing before. You see, in order for you to be associated with a contract, it had to be entered into knowingly, intentionally, willfully, and deliberately, with you knowing all of the facts. If you did not know all of the facts, the contract was not binding. But they created these adhesion contracts and nobody objected to it. Nobody said, no, you can't do that. You cannot attach an attachment. For instance, when you are trying to get a service on the internet, and the only way you can get that service is if you pay attention, the only way you can get that service is if you agree to their terms. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the way you kill that, and I know it's going to be kind of difficult, but you get the email address of the company, you let them know that you do not agree. You don't have to give me your email address, just give me your name, say I do not agree with that. And so I do not accept your offer. I will stick under the terms of the original agreement. Just that simple. Because see, when they have you agreeing, you're agreeing to all the ins and outs, the angles, the abouts, and so there's no reason, sorry, got to roll the windows down because where I am in the morning, you pretty much need a jacket. But when I come downhill, man, jacket, please, if you had a jacket, anybody would probably have you incarcerated for being out of your mind. So down here it's a lot warmer. All right. So after they started creating these contracts, that's why they call it a new deal. A deal is nothing but an agreement. A contract is nothing but an agreement. So they let you guys know that the new industry was contract. Nobody paid attention, but I did. Okay? The new industry was contract. That's why I tell everybody that one thing I've been studying is contract law. Why? Because contract law tells you everything. It tells you everything that's going on, tells you why it's going on, when it's going on, how it's going on. Contract law. So, now that we have contract law, they have adhesion and quasi-contracts and these semi-contracts and these diesel contracts. They have all kind of contracts that get you guys all caught up. And you all think that you can sit up here and just write a disclaimer and that's going to take care of things. Well, you just told us that's what we have to do. No. Ladies and gentlemen, they have created the adhesion contract stating you can't do this, you can't do that. So you have to figure out how to get around their stupidity. Okay? That's just the fact. You have to figure out how to get around their stupidity. Uh-oh. There we go. You guys may not have seen it, but I could see it. I couldn't see my, what do you call it? Taskbar. Okay, let's get back to English. Because many people were realizing the issue about contracts in the late 1930s, when did they start at the same time? Pay attention. What did they begin at the same time as they started this new deal, this new industry, this new economy market, or market economy? They started World War I. See, many people think World War I started in 1938. That's a lie. Hitler was brought into power, and many people think that Hitler was an evil man. It wasn't Hitler that was evil. It was the system that was evil because they did this purposely. So Hitler got into power in 1933. Imagine that. So how come everything started in 1933? Because it was necessary. And remember, because the people weren't buying into it, because 1938, Great Depression is over. So why did they need a war? Because the people were still sitting up there bucking the system. There was a lot of unrest. That's what the issue was with Germany. Oh, stop that, Dragon. Sorry, Dragon didn't appreciate what I was doing. And let's get rid of that. No, I don't want to exit Dragon. Okay. So, now that we look at that, it still wants me to exit Dragon. I told him no. Hold on, let me get rid of that. All right. So they started World War II. Literally 1934 to 1945 is World War II, but most people are not aware of that. I am. But after that, what did they do again? Then they had the Korean War. Why the Korean War? Because they had to indoctrinate these countries. Remember, China was the last one that they had to indoctrinate. They had to go after them, but notice how long it took them to go after China. Why? Because China didn't have an advanced military, didn't have a modern military at the time. But the nations that did have a modern military, they went after. Remember, Korea with Japan and all of that, that's where they were at the beginning. But remember, they were creating industries. And there was a pharmaceutical industry that was starting to become very prominent. Why? Because medication. Why? Where did this medication stuff come from? Came from World War II. When they did the thing with the MASH units and the so-called medical units in the military. All of that was done on purpose for a reason. Okay? So, now that you have that, now that you're aware of that, now that you know that, let's get past the Korean War and let's go to another area where the grounds were fertile and they were growing a lot of junk, a lot of poppies and a lot of cocoa for cocaine. And that was Vietnam. The United States realized they could take advantage of these people. And that's exactly what they did. They went after them. And they took advantage of them. Okay, now we get to the 70s. Now they created a new industry in the 70s. You guys know what that industry was? It was the oil industry. But the countries who had the oil, the Middle Eastern countries, now remember that's what they told us, that the oil is mucho plentiful in the so-called Middle Eastern countries. And that's not the case. The largest oil field in the world is in Alaska. Do your research on the Liberty Well. But they created an industry called the oil industry. And even though they have the Liberty Well, guess what? They have not flooded the market with that oil from Alaska. Why? Because they need the economy going exactly the way it is. They need you struggling. See, if all of you were doing okay, then they wouldn't have as much control. But they need you struggling, and they need you to be focused on other things. They need you distracted. So you've been distracted. Then in the 80s, we had another crisis, a housing crisis, a housing market. If you notice, in the 80s is when they changed everything dealing with housing. They claimed the banks were complaining. The banks were complaining because they wanted to make more money. They wanted to make the same type of money the military was making. So here we are. Now, let me show you why this is all important. When you get a chance, go back and listen to The Matrix. Go back and listen to Mr. Smith as he talks to Morpheus. He tells them, and also listen to the architect as he talks to Neo. Talks about this was the seventh one that they tried. Well, the architect and Mr. Smith says 6. But the architect says 7. There is no mistake. There was no mistake in the writing of that script. That one says 6, one says 7. The architect is not talking about the different little systems that they set up along the way nationally. No, the architect is talking about the entire world. You see, what the architect is talking about is the first system they set up under they were called the Egyptians. You guys heard of them, right? Well, they were the first world power. And then the next system that they set up was under the Assyrians, Sennacherib and his people. And then after that, the next system that they set up was the Babylonians. Then after the Babylonians, it was the Medo-Persian Empire. Then after the Medo-Persian Empire, it was the Grecian Empire. And after the Grecian Empire, it was the Roman Empire. And after the Roman Empire, it was the Anglo-American world power. Because you have to include Britain with America, because they've never been separate. Okay, so that's why you hear them. Hold on 1 second.
Give my change, would you?
Give my change, would you? Oh, Morris Day. Okay, didn't know who that was. Don't want nobody in my ear, because I'm listening to it in my ear, y'all. I got the headset on. That's why you didn't hear my car music on. Okay, so the way the system works, ladies and gentlemen, is just as they said. They have changed the system. They're getting ready to change the system again. Is there going to be a World War III? No, they've already started their second war. They have decided to implement this change a little bit differently. Okay? And so what they did with this change, by implementing a little bit differently, is they're going to bring about a global change. And then they're going to bring about an event that's going to affect the entire planet. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the facility I'm at is about to open up, so I'm about to go inside.
And in my dreams I've kissed
thank you all
the
for taking this trip with me, but this is
thousand times.
Really bugging
I
me
sometimes
that
see
people
you
didn't know this, that they didn't know how this
outside
was run.
my
This is a global government. This is not a singular government. North Korea was one of the final pawns to this puzzle that they needed to take care of.
I can see
Remember, they weren't part of the global system, but they are now.
I can see
So
it
when
in
you
your
think about North Korea, you need to ask
smile.
yourself a question.
You're all
Why?
I've ever
Now,
wanted,
what is the reason behind
and
that?
my
Asking the question,
arms
why?
are open
Why
wide,
did Trump and
'cause you know just
Kim
what to
Jong-un
say, and you know just
they've
what
already
to
made it clear that it
do,
wasn't for a treaty,
and I wanna tell
but it was a
you
treaty.
so.
But they're saying it's not a treaty because a treaty would have to have the approval of Congress.
I love
So
you.
why were they meeting? Well, Trump was representing the world. He wasn't representing the United States. And that's what nobody recognizes. But I did. That's why they met in Singapore. That's why it was said that whatever was decided during their meeting
I
would affect the
long
entire
to
world.
see the sunlight
Okay.
in your
North
hair,
Korea agreed. Why? Because they promised to make them part of the
and
economy.
tell you time and time
Why do you think
again
he was so happy in getting
how
this
much
out?
I
But the
care.
original leader, I don't believe, my personal opinion, this is my opinion, I'm
Sometimes I
allowed to have it.
feel
I don't
my
believe
heart
that
will
the Kim Jong-un that
overflow.
we're seeing on TV is the original Kim Jong-un. I believe that this is a puppet. This is just my opinion. I'm just guessing.
Ooh, I've
Why?
just got
Because
to
the
let
original
you know
and this character right here, this characters smiling. Hey, have you guys noticed how they're making sure that they show them shaking hands? As if them shaking hands means anything? Yes, it's symbolic. It shows that they're getting along, whether or not they're getting along. So ask yourself the question, tell me how to or did they just decide to give up all of their weapons, give up all of their nuclear capabilities because they felt like it? Because if that's the case, why did they need to meet? If North Korea agreed just to give up its weapons just to be good, then why did they meet? North Korea could have made that decision without meeting with Trump in Singapore. So there were some assurances there. You all need to start looking at things. Now, I'm not saying speculative, but I'm saying listen to narratives. Okay, because they notice how they're not as critical of North Korea as they were before. Even though they're saying negative stuff, North Korea has been told to ignore the media because the media is done this way in this country because that's the only way that people accept it. So that's why they get to talk negatively about North Korea and get away with it. Remember, when they talk negatively about North Korea, Pence opened his ignorant mouth and notice what happened. North Korea took offense to that. Well, it has been explained to them how the American media and how they shouldn't pay attention to the American media. So they told them the American media is a joke. Yeah, I know you started. So that's what's going on there. That's why things are the way they are. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, we let Luca take us out of here. He was saying goodbye, and so I'm going to do the same thing. Because if he doesn't have a clue, I'm going to get him. All right, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen.